FAMU Sports Hall of Fame Class of 22. Frank Middleton, football. Willie Mitchell, baseball. Javaro Sims, men's track and field. Alfonso Williams, men's track and field. Ulrich Francis, golf. Rochelle Guthrie Houston, women's tennis. Angela McFall, women's basketball. Akita Heatley, women's basketball. Antonio Bennett, women's basketball. Emmett Alexander, financial contributor. Hattie Alexander, financial contributor. Daryl Parks, financial contributor. Michael Thomas, supporter. Claire Reese Bird, supporter. Pamela Reilly, women's volleyball. This year's induction will be live streamed, will be staged in the historic Lee Hall Auditorium on Friday, September 9th, featuring an ESPY Award-style format opening at 7 o'clock. A post-ceremony reception in University's Grand Ballroom will follow the enshrinement. The 2022 class will be recognized the following evening during the FAMU Albany State football game at Bragg Memorial Stadium. This year's enshrinement weekend will be dedicated to the memory of Bobby Lang, a highly decorated coach and educator who also served tirelessly as a leading light on the Sports Hall of Fame board until his death this past January. The 22 Sports Hall of Fame weekend will also pay tribute to some notable athletic legends and trailblazers. The fabled 1966 through 68, men's 4x100 relay quartet of James Ashcroft, Major Hazelton, Eugene Milton, and Nathaniel James, which won that event 3 consecutive years at the prestigious Penn Relays, retiring the J.C. Patterson Cup. Harriet Adderley will be given the inaugural FAMU Sports Hall of Fame Trailblazer Award for her serving as a member of the Rattler baseball in 1960s. The Hall of Fame is just a little story about it right now, but we had an interview with Pam Reilly. We hope that you enjoy. Congratulations to all the inductees. We appreciate all that you have done at your institution. Welcome to the Hall of Fame. From Coach Mickey Clayton and member of the Fame Four, the Final Four basketball team, my dad, also a Hall of Famer, Coach Matt Clayton. Hello, everybody. I have one of our more recent inductees going into the FAMU Hall of Fame, Ms. Pamela Reilly. Congratulations, Pam.
Thank you, Coach. I really appreciate it. I feel honored.
Well, it is something to be honored for. And what I'd like to ask you right off the bat, you had a distinguished athletic career. When you returned to FAMU as a coach, did you envision that it would lead you to this?
That's a good question. I guess I didn't. Excuse me, I have a little frog in my throat. But I felt different, but I felt inspired, being back. I thought it was a beautiful opportunity, for me to come back home. Tallahassee really was a home for me because I was in Tallahassee a great deal of my adult life period, including school and then coming back to coach there. So I was in school a little extra time because of, my freshman year frolicking. Um, but I mean, I felt it was. I still feel, that when I see things on TV about Florida A&M, it still hits me in the heart there. So it was a different experience, but it was great. It was great. It was great. And of course, coming back, to work with my coach, that was an experience. I mean, the opportunity that you had given me was phenomenal. And honestly, I have to share the fact that both my mother and I were going through a divorce at that time, and she said to me, this opportunity may never come again. You can leave me, I'll be fine. And with that, I headed to Tallahassee for a great experience.
Okay, so when you came back to FAMU, what was on your mind? What were you thinking?
What was on my mind? Well, things are different. It's different. Things are different. Things are different for me. Being a former student athlete, but now coming back as an adult, I guess you could say. I had a different outlook. A little bit older, obviously. A little bit more mature, obviously. And one thing that I really found was Tallahassee was very comfortable for me. Like when I was a younger student athlete, you're looking for things to do. I gotta go to this party, that party. Everything gotta be lively. But when I came back, I realized that it was nice. The pace was. I was good. The pace was good for me. It wasn't. I wasn't needing so many things to do, and of course, I had enough to do. Coming back as a coach, that's a great responsibility, and there's a lot of things to do. So I definitely. I had a different outlook on it, and I didn't feel uncomfortable as a student, but I felt a little bit more comfort in my maturity, or comfort in the fact that, hey, you can slow things down a little bit and just, relax and do your work and not have everything, all of these different appointments to, parties to go to, social events or whatever. So I really enjoyed being back and the different perspective that I had.
Okay, seeing that I had just a little bit to do with your return in terms of hiring you to come back, let me share with you my thoughts on hiring. Having known you as a 7 or 18-year-old freshman on the Rattlerette basketball team, watching you grow and mature, and the painful process that was sometimes. I think that I felt that it would allow you an opportunity to be able to communicate with some of the young ladies that were going to be under your tutelage, and be able to use some of your experiences that you personally had went through, you just spoke of in terms of the maturation process, maturing, finding your way in and your purpose, and being able to help them in their own personal growth. I thought that you would be able to be a young lady that can do that. And I knew you had a passion and an affinity for our students. So I must say that I'm not surprised at you receiving the accolades that you received because of the dedication that you had. And you had to still kind of work on you a little bit. But but that was because of the relationship I had with you and your mom. So I was aware of the things that it took to kind of talk to you, where you need to be. You didn't need much. Although you had some memorable stories as a student athlete. But I'm very proud of your accomplishments and the successes that you had while you were at this.
Well, I thank you very much. And like you said, I mean, I think I was telling you the other evening that I draw from my experiences at Florida A&M, even now. And my experience, I shared a lot of experience with my student athletes as well, because I felt like I was experienced, or I had experienced something that they were currently experiencing. I've walked the grasses at this campus, and I've been to these buildings. I've been here. I've done some of the things that you've done, not all of the things that they did, but I felt like, you could empathize with them because you've been there, done that kind of thing, and I did feel like that was a big help for me coaching them. But even I think I just said something today. I did mention you today in the meeting that I was having, and about some of the things that you imparted, some of the knowledge that you imparted, and how you helped us be a team. That was part of our conversation this evening about how to be a good teammate as opposed to being a friend. So I draw from those experiences, and I was also talking about some of the things that you as a coach, you promoted our program phenomenally, and I learned those lessons from you, and then implemented them into my volleyball program. And, leaning on you, with a lot of that, you were very, helpful with me and showing me the ropes, the coaching ropes, and, the campus, the ins and outs, the little intricacies of, working on the campus at Florida A&M and everything. So it was a great experience. I was so surprised when you knew I was coaching here, and we were I remember asking you for press offenses and all this stuff, and you were sending me everything I asked for, and and then all of a sudden you were like, how'd you like to come and coach down here? And I was like, what? Are you serious? It was a great experience for me. It really, really was. And I know I was still a work in progress, but I feel like you had your finger on the pulse of the majority of your players, and you worked really hard to grow them as individuals, not just basketball players. And another experience that I can say that I drew from was, I think I told you this, but when we were traveling as your players, we were always trying to, get out and see the town, see the sights and all that thing. But, you were like, we're here for business, and I didn't really grasp the concept of that until I came back to coach. And then I realized all the pressure that you were under, having to watch someone else's child and be fully and completely responsible for someone else's child. I was like, Coach, I get it. Didn't get it as a 17, 18-year-old. Didn't get it because, you're trying to have your fun and see what's going on in the town and that kind of thing. I was in nervous wreck on my first trip. So I really understood, then. So it was a great experience. You gave me a lot of insight. You gave, corrective, because I still felt that coach-player relationship, even though when we were working together. So that was always helpful, and you would check a sister in a minute. So that, that was not an issue at all, but that was our relationship always, so like now, if I say something whack and you'd be like, no, so I respect that and I appreciate that very, very much.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Some of it, I feel like it was just pouring water on a stone, but I'm glad to know that some of it's something that you were able to pick things that would help you, and that you could pass on to the young ladies under your tutelage, and especially even at the university, your multi-talented athletic skills actually became something that was significant for you in your toolbox in your career to be able to fall back onto the different sports that you played, provide instruction and tutorship that work or played under you. And I know if nothing else, they were disciplined and they were academically focused even when they didn't want to be.
Yeah, that was an issue of mine initially, but again, that's another experience that I share with those are things that molded me into the person that I am today. So that, I share it. People have bad experiences in their lives, and they have to either you're going to grow for it or it's going to crush you. Those are pretty much the options there. So, but the tennis Uh, my parents really, really, really wanted me to play tennis. My father played tennis. I love tennis, but I didn't love it as much as I love basketball. So, but I knew a lot about it. I mean, we played, I played with a very good friend of mine. We played around town, the circuits and some of the New Jersey Tennis Association tournaments and everything when we were younger. But I, grew away from it. I love to watch it still or whatever. I don't know if Serena, I'm pulling for the goatess, excuse me, the goatess. But so it was familiar. It was something that was familiar to me. And when you're talking to student athletes about playing more than one sport, I'm more than one sport. Um, that's the beauty of playing more than one sport, or being involved with more than one sport. The fact that you can actually, draw from that. That might be your favorite sport, but you know a lot about it, and you know enough to guide the student athletes. And I knew enough about the tennis and the strategy or whatever. So it was fortunate for me, to be able to lead them on, to a couple of championships as well. I had great players too, so that always helps when you have good athletes that you don't really necessarily have to micro coach them. But so that's something that's another sport that I played that was actually something that was helpful.
Okay. Share with us how you felt when you were notified. Who notified you? How they notified you? What did you think when you found out about the upcoming induction into the Florida A&M University Hall of Fame?
What I thought was like, is this a joke? Who's playing games? I really was having an out of body experience. Like, not out of body, that's the wrong description, but I felt like, is this real? Like, are you serious? When I got the notification, I was like, wow. I mean, I knew of our Hall of Fame, and I knew of people who had gone in before me. But being so far away, you don't really, I try to keep up with things, obviously. But we have, you're here, you're doing what you're doing or whatever. But I really was shocked. It was a pleasant surprise. But I really was like, wow. Well, okay. And then I guess the initial shock wore off, and then the excitement came in. And I was like, oh, my God. I follow FAMU on Instagram. I'm seeing this campus looking like phenomenally marvelous. I'm like, is this Florida A&M? Oh, my God. I mean, so I keep up with everything. I'm getting the little notifications from Instagram and everything, and I'm looking, and I'm like, wow, something to get back, get a chance to go back to campus, see the campus. This is exciting. Now I'm like, I'm really super excited. But in the beginning, I was really kind of shocked, and like, they're honoring me, so then that's a personality thing with me, like, I didn't do anything. What are they honoring me for or whatever? But then as the, I guess unsureness of it wore off, I was like, wow, I really am being inducted. This is real. I'm getting notifications. I'm getting packets and everything. So I'm like super, super, super excited to be among such great and phenomenal people. I really am. Now I'm just all honored and bubbly and goofy and everything. So, but it's a great honor. It really is.
Again, congratulations. I want to give you an opportunity. It's also not, we lost your assistant coach, Ralph Coleman, just the other day. The World Service is actually on Friday, the same day as the induction. Anything that you would like to say relative to that, or to his family, or share a story about Coach Coleman, if you would like to stay along that line?
Oh my gosh. Cool Coach Ralph Coleman. That's just so cool. I mean, he was just cool. And he was just, what's the word I'm looking for? Not really, off the cuff isn't really a good description, but he would keep it real with you, basically. And it was, really, I was saddened because I haven't obviously been back to Tallahassee for a while. And I want to say the last time I saw him, I think I forget where we were out somewhere, and we were just chopping it up a little bit or whatever, talking about old times and everything. But I think the two of you were a good unit together. He knew his place with the program and everything. He was helpful to us. He didn't play with us either, take no tea for the fever either. But there's a difference in the head coach and the assistant coach. The players in turn, but But I just remember he was just so cool. So I really would like to extend my deepest condolences to his family, because that I was stunned when I got the word that he was in ICU. That's not always great, but something about your text just made me feel like it wasn't a good situation with him, and so I was really sad, and I'm still sad about it. So. I do want to express, I'm sure he has probably grandchildren and such, but I do want to extend my deepest condolences and, prayers to his family, as they go through this, time, this really, really bad time for them. And, hopefully they lean on, the everlasting arm and stay close with one another.
Well, thank you for that. We make sure that they know that as your Rattlerette sisters kind of responded in mass in terms of reaching out and saying something, letting us know. We have a couple of them that are planning to come and try to be with you. But now we're saying they're trying to get there for the memorial services for But that's life, and the other side of it, is death. And we wish the Brown's family the best. But we also want to celebrate those of you who are born into the Hall of Fame. And again, to recognize that outstanding achievement, not to let it be the crowning moment of your life, to continue on to accomplish and achieve and to be of service to your community. And to the young ladies that you are continuing to work with up there in
New Jazz, yes. I think I finally lost my southern drawl.
Don't they tell you that when you go back home? They haven't been from Cleveland. You go back home and say, "Oh, he's not like he's really from down here."
Exactly. It's like, oh my goodness. But I'm gonna get it back when I come back. So, but it's so funny. I don't hear it. What? You've been down south a long time. I'm like, okay. So, I mean, the English language is still the same. If you're down south, you're here or whatever. But I'm looking forward to coming back. I really, really am, and seeing, all old friends. The campus, like I said, it's just, I know I'm going to have, and now I probably will have an out-of-body experience. Or deja vu all over again, as Yogi would say. But I really am looking forward to it. I wish I could be there longer. But my goddaughter made the travel arrangements and she couldn't get out of school a little earlier. So but we're going to make the best of it when we get there. We're going to have a blast. We're going to try to see as many people as we can in that short time period, and just enjoy the moment, because it really is a special moment. It really, really is. And I'm really very, very proud and very, very humbled by it. That you when people recognize what you're doing, when they recognize the fact that you put your heart and your soul into it, and things don't always come out right, but you did the best that you could. So that's what I'm really pleased about, that it recognize that I tried to do the best that I could, and I thank you for the opportunity again.
You're more than welcome. You took it. You had an inch and you ran. You made a mile. You took it to the inch and kept on going with it. That was good. Your number was called. You responded. And in closing, I would like for you to kind of take the whole experience and share with anybody who's watching. Not so much about what it means, but how you don't ever. Well, I don't want to frame it. So it's okay if you talk about what it means. But fact of where you're from, what you did, and your accomplishment, you know, that others can do the same thing. You know, motivate those people who aren't feeling themselves right now. It might be a little down.
Well, coming to the situation at Florida A&M, really not having known a lot just from my high school experience of playing volleyball 1 year in high school. Basketball was my thing. They didn't have volleyball until my senior year. So I knew about it. I loved the sport or what have you, but I knew nothing really about the rules, the regulations, and things. So I had to actually jump in and learn. I took a team who had, I think I was the fourth coach for them. So they were very, I guess angry is a good word, because they kind of felt like nobody cared about them, and all of these coaches, it's like a revolving door for them. And I got there, the season was pretty much over, but we pushed for, I did what I had to do. I was like, well, I'm here to coach. Coach has confidence in me to bring me down here as his assistant, and I'm the head volleyball coach. All of this is going to fall on me, but guess what? You jump in feet first, and you do what you have to do. You just, and not really knowing anything about how budgets and all of that information, all the things that your budgets, buying uniforms, scheduling, all the things that are required. And then having to I remember my first recruiting trip for basketball. I was in West Virginia, and it was, the plane flew in, and it was really close to the mountains. I was scared to death. But the good thing was I met Vivian Stringer at that particular tournament. So again, I'm just, you feel like you're overwhelmed, but you just dig deep, you pray, and you move forward. You just keep driving and keep driving and keep driving and keep driving. And then good things will happen if you're persistent, and then if you're fortunate enough to have a good support group like I was. But I just really didn't think about it a lot. I'm here, I have a job to do, so I have to do it. And that's pretty much where I am now, with the struggles that I'm going through. Same thing. I try to tell the young ladies, adversity is around you. You just have to deal with it and make the best of it. What's going to come through on the other side is going to be a different person. Could be you want to make it a different person for the positive, not a different person for the negative. So just grind. You just have to grind.
Thank you for sharing that. I thought you were going to tell us the story when you were going recruiting, and I think you were going to Tampa or St. Pete. And got lost. City.
Whoa, no. How about when I first came down there, Coach Clayton? Well, I first came on the auto train. Ding, and they got off you picked it up in Lorton, Virginia, and it dropped you off in Sanford, I think. And I was so turned around and twisted trying to get in my car, get to Tallahassee. I think I called you like 80 times. I was so lost. I was like, okay, these directions, where am I going? I just saw this road 5 minutes. Whoa, it was bad. It was bad. It was really bad. So I had that was another experience that when you said lost, I was like, you were like, Pam, come on. I was like, I'm going to get to Tallahassee, please, Lord, let me get to Tallahassee, please. But, most of my experience was good there. But of course, there were some scary things, and driving, young ladies, we were on a lot of dark roads. I was petrified. It's dark. You don't know. You can't really see what's off on the side of you. A couple of trips. I think we were in South Carolina, and then we also saw the Klan marching when we were in South Carolina. So that was a bit wow. I called my mother that night because I had never seen. We were in Orangeburg. I had never seen. The Klan, but that was something in history that was there. But until you actually experience it, I was like, whoa. Down Main Street, the people, they were all lined up. The cops were there, and people, they were looking. I guess this was a normal occurrence. I don't know, but wow. And he had this green grand, I guess, I don't know, he's the Grand Wizard or whatever, but he had this green tall hat on and this green robe, and it was what I was like, really? So it's a great experience. I mean, I've done some goofy things too, because I'm just goofy sometimes, but the experiences, the recruiting trips, that's when I really found out about Southern hospitality. And I know I told you that story. You sent me Mr. Anders, who has passed away, unfortunately. But I went down there to recruit, and wow, I didn't do anything. I mean, brush my teeth, get up, shower, but food was ready for me. I was driven everywhere, to recruit. I mean, I went to like 4 high schools, and I was driven I didn't have to do anything. So they were like, oh, you're a that FAMU. Hey, go Rattlers. So that is real. Southern hospitality is real. And if you're a Rattler, you're a Rattler. We gonna get you. We got your back. So there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of positive things that, happen and that we could talk about. And I like to share because they're great experiences for me in my life. So I like to share. And so they'll all come flooding back to me, I know. So I'm going to have a moment. So hope nobody sees me. But whatever.
They were key to our recruitment in women's athletics. And the relationships that we have with people helped us know about student athletes, opening their homes up.
Yes. Yes.
Didn't have a recruiting budget, so we depended on them. They were critical.
Yes.
Component to our success. And so all I did was we would go to an area or send you to an area we always let you know who their supporters were. And they were, you could feel safe with them. And they protected, they looked after you. And everywhere in the Southeast, we pretty much had A&M alumni somewhere.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Years of segregation made us strong.
Yep.
In every school system.
It did. It did. It really did. It really did.
Well, Pam, I appreciate you taking the time to share. And again, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you. I wish my mom was able to make a trip so that she could see herself. But I know that when you travel, you're able to breathe.
Yes.
She talked that talk.
Yeah.
So I know she's extremely proud of you and probably looks at you.
Yeah, she is. She was getting a little teary the other day. She's like, oh, I said, Ma, don't do it, please. I mean,